Hi,
Hi, Kelly.
hi
Oh,
everyone.
hi. Oh, I'm loving that jumper that you got. I've got my sequins as well. Oh, that's
Oh, eh?
beautiful. That says ho ho ho.
Oh, your hat's amazing, all glitzy. But
Thank you. It's that you can actually change it to look
oh
silver.
my
I bet
goodness.
if I put it near the microphone, it'd probably be like ASMR, but I'm not going to do that. But
I know.
yeah, we've gone full out Yuletide, full out Christmas glitters today. Because this is our final session of the year. Do you know, I meant to ask you before we started, Kelly, how many sessions have we done now? Is this six, is it? Or
I'm wondering if this is 5. August, September, 5. I think we're on 5. I should know when I'm uploading it. 5 or 6.
yeah.
Maybe the our followers can tell us.
Yeah, we can check, but we missed an opportunity there because we could have looked at the angel number and the significance. But I think, hey, we've got so much to talk about and the energies and everything at this significant time of year, which because obviously we were originally going to record last week, weren't we?
Yeah.
And then all these things happened, and it was obviously deliberately delayed until this week. And now we know why, don't we? We know why we needed to record today because it's Wednesday, the 17th today. But obviously, we'll be getting into that in a moment, won't we?
Yeah.
Um, so we're going to we last time we received two questions from the lovely Angela, and we answered one of those for her. So we've kept her waiting a few weeks. So now we're going to answer that question for her today because I think it's a question that lots of people would like to know the answer to. And then we've got like a few important things to discuss. And we've also got some light language coming through. And I think you picked us three cards before we go into that, haven't you?
Yeah.
So without further ado, before we get going, shall we just open the space
Absolutely.
today? So got yeah, we've both lit our candles already. And as per usual, we're going to set the intention to open this space. And as we open this sacred space today, we call in the highest frequency, the highest light of source, the purest frequency of love, truth, and wisdom. And we ask that everything that is spoken, felt, seen, or shared here flows through that light of source and is for the highest and greatest good of all present. We ask that our words uplift, our hearts stay open, and our energy remains grounded and protected. And we also ask that only energies of love and divine truth be present with us in this session, guiding the conversation and those who are now and in the. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that's the sacred space opened and the intention set. And we'll keep that intention through us for the whole session. But anyone listening or watching, I invite you to hold that intention with you at all times and carry it through you with you throughout the day.
Yes.
So,
Kicking into
honey.
Angela's question. Thank you, Angela, again.
So I have just got some notes here just to because we've got a lot to get through today. I'm just going to remind myself, but I believe the question was from Angela was how can I deepen my connection to spirit? Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's a really
well,
important. Yeah, thank you, first of all, for Angela for submitting that question because I think, as Kate mentioned, it's can resonate with a lot of us that we just want that openness and that support from source, spirit, universe, whatever resonates with you, or God,
yeah.
so to speak. And when we feel that disconnect, it can make us feel like, are we heading in the right direction? And when we feel that support, it can also be quite comforting and we can feel that safety, which is probably why a lot of people desire to know how they can strengthen it. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
how I feel my view on it is, and as I said, it's just literally my opinion and things that I've been guided towards and how I've been working with my own connection with source, is that it's actually that within us. It's not something that's around us or above us or external that we are to call in. So if we're talking about strengthening that connection, it's actually strengthening the connection with self. And I've been guided this week myself by somebody to just sit in stillness. And it's been messages that I've for the last couple of weeks. And I think the reason for that is the energies that we're coming into, which we'll be talking about quite soon for this weekend, because it's about that remembrance, and the source energy, the source information will flow through us when we can sit in that stillness and just ask what is it that I'm being guided to do? What would you like, what does my
Yeah,
body need, that type of thing. And it can be quite difficult. It isn't meditating, because I think people shut down when you say, oh, you must meditate more, and that's, it's literally scheduling in a couple of times a day when it suits you. It can be different for everybody. And you start off with 5 minutes and just hand on your heart, hand on your womb, and don't even ask any questions. Like you don't want an outcome at that stage. You're not asking maybe, what do I need to do?
yeah,
It is just stillness. And then the more you get into that practice, like training that muscle, then you know that at any point you're able to just connect in, and the connection
yeah,
strengthens, because then that opens the channels, as we know, and we've talked about on previous episodes, of signs and synchronicities starting to come. Um,
yeah,
and yeah, so that's my belief. And I think it is that knowing that everything that we need, all our inner guidance and support, is within us. And that is purely because we are source, we are spirit, we are the universe, because we are
yeah,
the light beings. And I think it's
yeah,
interesting that this question has been saved for this episode, because we know what we're going to be talking about in a couple of minutes. So yeah, Angela, I think
yeah,
we'll just layer on to why it's important that we do connect. And there's a reason why I think Angela's been guided to ask, because she's been feeling the
yeah,
nudges.
yeah.
Really
And I think that
interesting.
that's it, and obviously when you're new to this, I think it's because it is true, because but we still have, you know, that sense of separateness, and I think it's like trying to understand that spirit isn't something that we have to reach out to. I know we talk about vibration and things in terms of sort of communication, but spirit is already here, and it's already, like you say, within you. But we're just so busy, aren't we? We're so busy and distracted. And even when we do sense things, notice things, and how people, how people experience that sort of connection is so different. So for some, it can be like that sort of physical sensations, like clairsentience, that sort of shiver, or in a sense of feeling in a certain part of the body, which can be very, very subtle. But the more you, like you say, the more you take a moment to just sort of notice, is when, like you say, flexing that muscle and getting used to it so that you can more quickly recognize it. It could be in your stomach, it could be, a sensation in your heart, whatever, or it could just be like a word that comes to you, or a thought that drops into your head, or it could just be a sign, or something that you notice outside of you. But you do have to give yourself some opportunity to do that. And I totally agree with you that, being told to meditate more for some people is just a complete turn off. And I get it. Um, and as in answer to that, I'd say, well, the little practice, that simple practice that you just suggested, the hand on the heart, the hand on the stomach. I mean, when you've just woken up in the morning, you could do that.
Yeah.
And you're also maybe still in more of a receptive state. Just before going to sleep, you can do that. I don't. And if you want to know the answer to something, maybe just ask the question, and then just allow, don't, I think when you're sort of striving, or straining, or reaching, or trying, is what kind of blocks it, I think. So it's just giving yourself that grace, that space, that time. Like you say, it doesn't have to be for long, and it doesn't mean always having to go deep. I mean, if you want to do deeper practices, but maybe struggle a little bit with meditation, then it might be better to try a guided meditation. You could do that on a one-to-one basis. You can go to a group thing, maybe combine it with a sound bath, something like that. Or of course, you can have a going beyond the veil session where you'll be working with somebody who's a trained facilitator who's going to help take you through that process to help you get, hopefully a stronger connection and receive the guidance that you're seeking at the time. So that's other ways of doing it. But really, it's again, and it's not having to constantly go to something special or dedicate, an hour and a half or more to some sort of practice. It is just that simple everyday little thing. I mean, interestingly, I got a message last night that was channeled about meditation because yeah, we're getting told to meditate. How many times have you been told to meditate more, Kelly? It must feel like, because for me, I feel like it feels like hundreds. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure I'm exaggerating somewhat, but so many times, and you're like, yeah, I know. But and you do think, well, I mean to, or oh, it's like making the time, or oh, it's what they actually said, the spirit was saying, is that a meditation, like you say, it can just be that little simple practice. It can just be a little breathing. It can just be taking a pause. You can do it while you're out for a walk. It could just be having a real deep heart-to-heart conversation with a friend. But also, you can just talk. You can just talk, to you guys. You can just ask the questions in your head. If you're on your own, ask them out loud. It might feel a bit silly and a bit, sort of fake at the initially. You might be self-conscious doing it, but nobody can hear you. But your guides can. you know so I'm making some assumptions here about what Andrea actually meant by the question when she's saying connection to spirit. I think she's more I'm assuming she's talking about guidance. I think that's the way we're taking it. But also, if she was meaning specifically perhaps loved ones in spirit, then again, they are around and they can hear, and just saying their name, calling them in, speaking to them, the messages will be received. And then it's just that acknowledgement and that trust that the information is coming through. It's always coming through. It's coming through while we're asleep. It's coming out, whatever we're doing. And but that's why it's important to take that pause, because otherwise we don't notice. And the more we do the pauses, and the more we start to take notice and get used to and just trust, rather than second guessing it or dismissing it, but just trusting and allowing, willing to just be open, give it the benefit of the doubt. And like you said, as it's flexing the muscle, and then you'll start to just notice it more and more, and you'll be able to more quickly call it in, and get maybe those yes no answers to things
Yeah.
in the moment in situations.
Well, I think
But
while you
it's
are training, Kate, it's interesting that you might question, was that a yes or no? So there's a couple of different things that I've actually got around me just now. So one of my decks has yes, no, it's not for you. It's
yeah.
roses unfolding. So you could say, right, was like use that as a backup, or a trusted pendulum, just
Hmm.
anything that you trust that will, that's tuned to you. Some people do have access to like different
Yeah.
little tools around them. So say, right, okay,
Yeah.
in my practice, this is what I think the answer that I got, and just say, was that the answer? And I've used that today with some of the cards that I've pulled. And is this, it's just giving you that recognition and the confirmation after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you work with those tools, it is just important to remember to sort of cleanse them and clear them and protect them,
Yeah.
routinely. Ask them to work with you, but also don't keep over asking the same questions, because it's like, well, we've answered that.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty, I've done it myself. That's why I'm mentioning it. And I've used a pendulum, and I've had it literally point blank refuse to move.
Mhm.
Because it's like, yeah.
Bit fed up when
So
they're like, "I've just asked this and what's
I don't know
going
if they
on?"
do get something like you do, but it's just like, I think it's just like it is, the lesson is like, well, learn to trust, And I'm not saying that, you should ever use these things completely, and this is you connecting to your own guides and your own, inner wisdom, which is already there. Like I say, it already exists within you. but I'm not saying that use a pendulum instead of, on a legal matter or financial matter. I'm not saying this replaces expert advice, obviously. I'm just saying these are tools and practices that can help you with that, deepen that connection. But people do, get to that point where they are able to really just tune into that intuition and have that knowing, and that's obviously what we'd all like to have, but we've got to be willing to allow it and accept it and trust it, and that's kind of where we struggle and fall down a bit, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and I
And
think
it's
interestingly, the energies over the weekend that we're going to be discussing, people will find this a lot more of an easier practice, so to speak, and they're going to
yeah,
start finding their connections, and the messages and the downloads like will be more like unquestionable, because it remembrance is a word that we've realized is going to be key for this episode, and how source spirit and the universe want us to know that that
yeah,
is the case, that it is within us.
yeah, yeah. So when we talk about awakening, really we should change that to remembering.
Mm.
That's what awakening is,
Yes.
isn't it? It is remembering. And I think that brings us nicely then, because as I mentioned at the beginning of was saying you sorry, I just hit my microphone then. We were going to record last week and it got moved to this week, and then we kind of realized why that happened. Because we've got three really kind of significant dates going on in a row this weekend, haven't we?
Yeah, so some people may be aware of these energies that we're about to talk about. We maybe touched on them in the last episode, but certainly in the circles that Kate and I are in, the communities, even like mid to end November, we were being prepped for this weekend. And I remember, Kate, you were guided in a session to journal in the forest on the 19th. And then another
Yeah,
person
yeah.
said, like,
Sorry.
they've
Yeah.
been told, like, we're all individually getting the guidance on the 19th was quite a significant day, and it indicates that potentially it could be linked to the fact that Three Eye Atlas, which is a comet, for those of that's been widely discussed in mainstream media, and that's how NASA are describing it, as a comet, but it's not been created around our solar system like usual comets. It's from a different part of the galaxy. So they've been monitoring this for quite a few weeks now. And actually, it's going to be the closest point to us on the 19th. And it also coincides with things that are happening in the 3D realm, like certain files, shall we say, that have been pretty well much talked about,
Mm,
are going to be
yeah.
sort of what's the word, released, because there's been a lot of pressure or around that. So I think there is definitely a shift, but what we're being told is that the Three Eye Atlas energies are that remembrance piece. It's going to be that the the flares and the codes and the energy that's coming down from it is to not reawaken, but just to sort of upload us energetically, give us those upgrades, so that we will then start to be more aware of what we're able to create in ourselves, how we're able to connect, and things will just, it will just be a completely different lens for some people, not
Yeah.
all, because it just depends on what stages we're all at on our journey. And for some
Yeah.
people, feel like, oh, it could be the start of their awakening, like you
Mm,
remember.
yeah.
So it's just
Yeah.
being held in that space and just knowing. And Kate and I were talking about this before the session, and we didn't want it to come across as scaremongering or like hold on to your hats sort of thing. It's just, if we're aware of these external energies happening, you can sort of understand them. Maybe, why am I so fatigued today, or why am I being guided just to rest and allow that to
Yeah.
happen
Yeah. Or
naturally.
why are these emotions and things coming up? Why are these memories
Yes,
coming up? Why do I feel like I'm yet again shedding into the skin,
absolutely.
as if we haven't shed enough already? And those of us who are kind of already on this path and have been for a while now, and are maybe, working spiritually and working with others and with clients, it is because that's what we came here to do, to help. We've had to go through all of the experiences ourselves so that we can help and support and, explain to others as they start to wake up, as they step onto the path, as they start to remember and awaken. That's why, and you know, we can't have that sort of empathy and understanding, and give that support without having gone through it ourselves. And we continue to go through it.
I know we could well, maybe mention the horse.
It is a process.
We've still got until February, so there's still a good 2 months of shedding,
Yeah,
remembering,
yeah.
releasing to
But
go
they say that energy is, that new year energy is kind of is here now. And you were saying that, well, if we just go over these 3 days over the weekend, because like you just said, it's Friday, isn't it? With Three Eye Atlas when it's like at its closest point, and what's going to occur that we know of already. That's what's going to coincide with that. And then, didn't you say we've got the new moon
It's on
energy?
the
Is that on
20th,
Saturday?
very early in the morning on the 20th UK time. So for some parts of the world, the new moon will coincide with 3 Atlas energy, but we're getting it. I'm sure it says like 2 a.m. in the morning is a new moon, and it's a Sagittarius new moon, and that is all around sort of dreaming big, not allowing to put limits on ourselves. And it isn't so much of manifested, but it's just not saying, oh, I wish I could do X. It's just like you can do, it's there's infinite possibilities going on here. And I think
Yeah,
um the moon just wants you to sit with that, and it's not like rushing off to go and set these goals straight away, but it's just spending some time, even if you've just done the heart and the stomach practice, like journaling on, oh great, I've had this guidance, how can I 10x that, or show me how good it can be? Because when we set a manifestation, as you know, that is a limitation already, because it could be, oh, I'd love a
yeah,
home to have a garden and a um an extra bedroom, but then what if there was more than that there for us? And I think that we're being guided to be shown with these new energies coming in that we are our own creators and we are able to generate that, but it like we've still got to learn how to connect in with what it is we're actually being guided to ask for. So it's a little bit of a what putting the pieces of the puzzle together, but once you get into the flow, it's just going to be really expansive, this energy.
wow,
So,
yeah,
yeah, it's going to be
yeah.
great.
And I think the thing to be aware of is again that maybe just try to with compassion and without judgment, but just being aware of your thoughts and feelings and things that come up, but also knowing that, as you're saying, because it's that kind of, we've always been co-creators, we're always manifesting, even though we're not aware of it, and we don't believe, because we're conditioned to believe it's all external and out of our control. um but because it's really sort of ramping up and things are sort of coming into kind of into our existence like much more quickly, it is kind of like a good idea to really be aware of the language that we use, how we express things, and really focusing on, well, what do we wish to have in our lives? What do we wish to attract and everything? And maybe try to avoid like need, lack, want type words, and using those sort of more like positives and kind of I am and I can and it is, you know, those kind of words. So bringing it into that present, because it's happening much faster now.
Yeah, because then to tie it all up in a nice, lovely bow, the 21st is the winter solstice, the
Yeah,
longest day and night of the year. Well, obviously it's still 24 hours, but the darkness is the longest point of the year for it,
yeah,
isn't it, Kate? And
yeah. Well, here in the northern hemisphere anyway.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is. So it's the point, like you said, it's the shortest day, the longest night, and it's the point at which the sun reaches its lowest point in the sky, I believe. Oh, I'm not pretending to be an expert on the winter solstice, but it's kind of obviously, because it's the reason why it's often significant and celebrated, particularly within pagan sort of culture is because in ancient times it's because it was like the light slowly starting to return because obviously it those long the long nights and the darkness and the lack of sort of harvest and things it was tough times to go through, but it's my understanding of it, of how it sort of that manifests and is energetically the solstice is it's kind of like it's like a moment of like it's like literally like a still point, just like this pause, this energetic pause, at that turn of the day and the season. It's almost like you're holding your breath.
Yeah.
It's like Mother Earth Gaia is holding a breath. And so it's significantly, it was always seen in ancient times as like a time of death and rebirth. So we're kind of in the energy of that. And whilst many people might expect to feel uplifted because it's like, oh, hooray, where the days are going to vary. I mean, it's very, very subtle at first, but the days are going to start getting longer, we have more daylight. But it is a time where you can't be feeling emotionally like a little bit raw or tender. You might be feeling like fatigued and tired. You might just want to withdraw. And it's like that time of year where you sort of feel like you're expected to be sort of sociable. And it's a raw time of year for lots of other reasons as well. It's not everybody necessarily celebrates Christmas, or and not everybody is able to, and people are missing loved ones, and life isn't the way it's presented to us in the movies and even in the TV ads, where it's still just like perfect happy families and a table groaning with food. Many people just don't have that in their lives, do they? So again, all of that is coming into play at this time, and so it's okay, to understand this at a pause, but to just recognize that it is that final shedding, and we are stepping into the light. So just giving yourself a bit of, I say, grace and compassion
Um,
around that time,
you were saying,
and you
Kate, how
don't
interestingly,
what
oh,
you're doing.
oh, sorry, I thought you'd
Sorry.
finished. I was just saying how interestingly enough, with these beautiful energies that we've just talked about, that it's actually, if you think about it, quite a sacred weekend for
Yeah,
wherever you are on your journey, or however you want to look at it, whether it's spiritually, for nature, and grounding. That, interestingly enough, if you were to be watching the news, which Kate and I try not to by choice, but we are aware of things because sometimes you can't avoid it, and it isn't burying our head in the sand.
yeah,
We just make that choice not to be sucked in by certain things. But if even ourselves that are taking that stance know that there's been some quite inflammatory, shocking messaging coming through at us at a time of year, like you say, what it is, emotions are quite heightened, people are quite
yeah,
stressed, although we've tried to keep it festive today. And as mothers,
yeah,
we've got lots of
it,
responsibilities, and it can be really overwhelming time of year for a lot of people, as Kate mentioned, for lots of different
yeah,
reasons, and you're just hanging on by your last thread. um the, the powers that be are like, right, let's just put this into the mix, because they can feel the shift happening. And we've
yeah,
done so much amazing work as a collective, and we should all be so proud of ourselves. Even if you have just managed to meditate 5 times this year, you've been part of that raising of the vibration, so to speak,
yeah,
as we've allowed in the light to become really powerful. And that's the only way we can really fight this, is by going within, which is why I said
yeah,
it was quite strategically timed that Angela felt drawn to ask that, because it's like, well, how can
yeah,
we help, or what is it that we can do to prevent these things that we're being
yeah,
made to fear? And the main thing that we can do is work on ourselves, come back to our center, and to allow the love and the light to be in us and around us,
yeah,
by doing those small practices. And it's okay to be like, for 5 minutes when your to-do list is hanging off,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah,
I
I think
think
it's
I
just
think
finding that balance.
exactly, and it's just understanding that because that the as the light comes in, so the darkness rises because it's being nudged and prodded and poked out of its hiding place.
Mm.
It's going to retreat before the light, but it has to it has to be seen, it has to come out into the light so that it, it can be transmuted. And so it is, it does seem shocking. There is, fear, anxiety, outrage, despair. But some of it is, like you say, it's deliberate manipulation in order to try and sort of keep us, down in low vibration and questioning and distract us from noticing. So there's lots of like smokescreen stuff and distracting activities and trying to direct people's attention and keep them in a kind of angry and fearful sort of low vibration. But we know this, so that's what I say. That's why it's best, I feel, and you feel too, not to engage with this, but to just keep, sending it light and hold that faith and hold that trust and know it's all happening for a reason, that it is part of it. And trusting that we are safe, we are protected, we are, remembering, we are awakening, and this is part and parcel of it. And we can just let go of that fear and trust.
Yeah, and the
So I just wanted
acceleration
to,
is heightened. It's going to be fast. So prepare
yeah,
yourself.
sorry about that. You're absolutely right. And I know you've like really been sort of paying attention to this energies and what's sort of going on towards the end of this year for a while now, because that's been brought into your awareness. But one thing I did want to say about this particular winter solstice, solstice, I can't say that word. I keep saying solstice instead. Anyway, never mind. You know what I mean? But apparently, this is my understanding of it. So again, not an expert or an authority on this, but that people are, because of what's been going on, and because of like, we've got these consecutive days and all of this energy, and say 3-eye atlas, new moon, all coinciding at once. So lots of people are going to come to the solstice just literally feeling, stripped bare because we've been year of the snake, shedding the skins and everything like that. And so probably just feeling exhausted, maybe not really, but also, kind of at that I've had enough sort of point, as in I don't want to carry on like this. I don't want to just, I want to let go. I want to let go of all this responsibility or this old identity or all these old issues, or I don't want to be stuck in the same kind of role anymore. So this is part of it, because they're ready to remember who they really are and step into that. But right now, not having the remembering, it's just this sense of like, there's got to be more than this, or I just don't want to be like, I just wanting change and not wanting to just, keep knuckling down and putting the head down and sort of pushing through and, hoping for the best kind of thing. It's just like, oh, like, I
Got
just,
to be a better
that's it.
way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I don't, looking for that sort of guidance and support as to which way do I go? Where do I go from this? But I know I just don't want to carry on like this. And I think anybody who's, already well on the path has had that moment. We've all been forced into that moment where we've just kind of gone, I don't want to do, I don't, it just, there's got to be more than this, or I just don't want to live like this anymore, or I don't want to, I don't want to be this anymore. There's got to be something else, and that sets us off on that journey of kind of discovery, doesn't it? Looking for those
Once you
answers and
start speaking that
becoming
into
more self-aware in
existence,
the process.
yeah, things start
Yeah,
popping into your awareness, don't they, Kate? So I know I've spoken
yeah,
about on my journey.
yeah,
Once I said, like, I need to know my purpose. I need like things like, oh, do this
yeah,
first
yeah,
and sign up for this. And you're like,
yeah,
okay, then. And you start going off on your
yeah,
own journey. Yeah, it's fabulous.
yeah, yeah. Because it's like, there must be more to it than this kind of thing, and there is so much more to it than this.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I've not shared my sort of awakening story yet, but I'll probably do that. Hopefully, I'll do that next time in the new year. But I certainly had that moment, really. But anyway,
I know. And
next
listen, if
time.
anybody
Yeah,
does need some support through this, because I feel like there's a lot of information here and we're sort of laying the groundwork for what you might feel or how you might think, that there will be wobbles, and just, reach out to Kate or I. Our email is always in the show notes, so to speak, or if you feel
Yeah. Or
you're
put it
able
in the
to
comments if you,
comment,
yeah.
yeah. But if just
Yeah.
I'd love to
Yeah.
speak
If you're willing to do so, but if you prefer, or
yeah, but it's
privately.
just non,
And
just I do connection and clarity calls for people all the time, and it's just to give like a little bit of hand holding. I know, Kate, you're open to those conversations as well, and it isn't for us to say, "Oh, work with us and we'll do this,"
yeah,
just to sort of reassurance, isn't it? And
absolutely.
funny enough,
Yeah.
one of my
Yeah.
cards indicates that is the advice that I should be giving you. So that's why I've had
Yeah.
that download for
So
that.
I mean, there's a lot there, and we've only really skirted over it over what's coming up over these, over the weekend over those 3 days. But it's kind of like, as I was saying, thinking about your thoughts and focus, but it's because of the stuff coming to light and what's sort of going on, it is almost you're being asked to ask what is no longer true for me.
Mm.
It's not even like where do I go from here or what do I want to create before you get into what do I want to create, you know what do I desire is also what is no longer true for me, what is no longer aligned, and allowing yourself to identify that because that actually it might sound a little bit depressing. It's not because it just gives you that sort of clarity. And you've got to allow yourself to sort of feel that, like I say, and not judge yourself, not feel, angry or frustrated about that. Um, just recognizing that this is what's happening because things are coming up so that you can question this and identify, what is no longer true for me, what is no longer aligned,
Yeah,
and
that's a
then go
beautiful
into what
question.
do I want to create.
Ask yourself. Quite a poignant one. And yesterday,
Yeah,
Kate and I were chatting on the WhatsApp about today's episode. We like to sort of freestyle it a little bit, but we try and have a bit of a structure, don't we? And Kate tunes into
yeah,
it and she's I've been guided to say, I'm going to do this and my light language and that fabulous for you to do a 3 card pull. And I was like, great. So Kate didn't know what cards I've pulled, but funny enough, it's really tying in with the conversations that we've just had with each other and yourselves because the 3 cards are when I asked, it was like, what do the collective need to know about the energies that we're moving into? So hopefully wherever you're watching this, it will be relevant for you and you'll catch it at some point before this all kicks off. But the first card is the cleansing, and it actually says releasing the old, energetic tune up and new beginning.
oh yeah.
And those are the words that
Cleansing,
Kate
shedding, yeah,
um,
yeah.
so this is a healing waters deck, and it's very subtle, but it's actually Rebecca Campbell, and it's like that's a waterfall, and these are 2 females standing
Ah,
back to back. But there's hold it right up. There's some beings in the card there in the
mhm.
waterfall, but it's just
Yeah, you
allowing that
definitely.
cleansing, and that might just
Yeah,
be the
see
state
that pure light at the top as well, haven't you? It's got the source light energy in that card.
coming in, yeah. And it is just that might just be all you need to do this weekend. Just allow the cleansing, and it's making space, isn't it, energetically for
Yeah,
sitting with releasing what needs to go so that the new beginnings can start. Because
yeah,
we can't have everything all at once, can we? It just
yeah, yeah,
and it's really when I touched on, oh, that's okay for you to sort of say it, and you might just feel a bit wobbly, you've not got the solid foundation. And when I asked how we can use our light, it tells us to reach out to our soul family, and it's telling us to call in your tribe and that you don't have to do it alone, which I think is why I was nudged to say if it's Kate or I that you're called to, or you're in another collective group where you're all soul aligned and you feel safe, is just to reach out and say how you're feeling and to not sit over the next 3 days and the weekend like feeling unsettled or ungrounded. Reach out
yeah,
to who you feel, and you've got this beautiful
yeah,
dolphin and whale
yeah,
energy around you supporting you with that.
yeah, exactly. And it does tie in nicely with, Angela's question of sort of, how do I connect? And also the guidance I received last night that, meditation could be a heart-to-heart conversation, with is someone you trust.
Yeah.
It's
Just
because there's
speaking
all
this,
different ways. They're speaking it out,
it
yeah,
really does it,
and
doesn't
speaking
it?
your truth.
Yeah, and as
Yeah,
Pete said, now isn't the time for big, deep, massive guided meditations, although they will support you. It's not about finding something massive or signing up to a container or course. This can be really quick for us now because it is quickening. The emotions can rise, but they're releasing just as quick as they're coming in as well. So it's seeing that positive aspect of it because
absolutely.
previous to this
Yeah,
year, we've had to sit with things quite heavy for a long time before they're ready to come up. But this is not, no, okay, where am I feeling it in my body? You just need to breathe it in. And as you're breathing out, just tell yourself, I'm releasing this now. You don't need to have
yeah,
anybody. We've all got that power within us to tell ourselves it's gone. I don't, and then just
yeah,
yeah, for a couple of
yeah,
seconds and it'll feel really light because you've told it you're not willing to
yeah,
have that in your body anymore.
yeah, yeah. Because we do actually have. That's the other thing that we need to remember. We do have sovereignty. We do have that freedom of will. We do have that ability to be able to say, I accept this. I do not, no, I'm not available for this. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, and we can just,
I
I
acknowledge
release
it.
it.
I release
Yeah,
it.
I welcome this thing. I accept this, I release, I let go. Or this, no, I reject it. I'm not available for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And then
absolutely.
once that's clear, something else will come in. Like you will feel it fast and quickening, but it's just to get started is amazing because you're like, yeah, got this.
Yeah.
I've done that. This to that emotion. Right, come on next, and you'll feel really empowered. It's great.
Yeah, I do love that card. It was a very beautiful card. I just
Yeah,
love that.
back up.
Yeah, and the dolphins and everything.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So the foreheads are touching, aren't they? They're just like, yeah, communicating. But it could also mean even communicating with your higher self almost as
yeah.
well, kind of because like at that sort of they're reflecting each other. Yeah, it is beautiful.
So, high level divine masters, Carl Gray, who I love, and I thought it was really important to ask what energy and what ascended master is supporting us at this time. And interestingly enough, we've got Horus, and he is the gateway keeper to the whole of the cosmos and the universe, and that's where his eagle headdress comes in, and he's there for protection, but he's also telling us that your beliefs make manifest, thoughts attract and create. So again, Kate touched on if we're talking about these remembrance energies coming in from Three Eye Atlas and the new moon, what is it like when I'm saying dream big, don't have limits on yourself, like check where the self negativity and the self worth, like, you know, you can't have those, you can have those thoughts, but you can acknowledge that you've got them and say, like we just discussed, I don't embody those thoughts and feelings about myself anymore, and like flip them onto their mirror image of themselves, like, so if you're feeling like you're useless or
Yeah,
you're not capable, then the I am comes into it, doesn't it? And he's here to
yeah,
show us that once we have those remembrance codes and those awakening upgrades going on, we are limitless and
yeah,
are able to choose what we want our reality to look like, which is why the
yeah,
darkness is really fighting back
yeah,
because they don't want us to be the
yeah.
powerful beings. They need us to rely on, the systems and things that we're
Oh
all
yeah, they need us to
in.
be, in the kind of obedience and sort of an unawareness, don't they? And like,
Yeah.
yeah, just yeah, downtrodden and toiling away and not questioning, definitely not questioning.
It isn't about not going into work on Monday morning or anything like that, but it's
No,
just you know, don't ditch
no,
the day
no,
job yet because you will
yeah,
still have those bills to pay. But imagining what your ideal world and how you would like to live, and just really, yeah,
yeah,
go for it. And
yeah,
don't do the vision boards and things like that because then again you're putting ceiling limits on it. But just having that starting point of how, all the beauty that you want around
yeah,
you and how you want to feel, and it
yeah,
for everybody, which is
yeah,
fabulous. We can all create our own yeah, universes, so to speak.
yeah, yeah.
It's
Well,
fabulous.
we've both been learning, a self guidance technique, haven't we? That divine guidance. technique out to asking, to be taken to your highest available timeline, to be shown what that is and what that looks like. And there'll always be like another one, but it's just once you kind of understand what that is and what it looks like, allowing yourself to kind of feel into it. Again, that's a manifesting and calling it in technique. So you kind of, it's like sort of collapsing time, and taking that quantum leap towards what it is that you want to
Yeah.
bring in and
Just
where you're
telling
meant to
yourself,
be.
isn't it, that it's already done and it's already happened and it's already here. And I know that's difficult, but when it's not dwelling on it, like we said, like don't keep asking the pendulum, don't keep pulling the cards, don't keep getting the session. It's just like, okay, that is how I want it to be. So it is
Yeah,
done. And then carry on with your day, your week,
yeah,
and just
yeah.
see the magic come in.
Yeah, exactly. And I say we say things are happening faster. Some things, small things, might be happening instantaneously for many people, but other things, things need to be arranged and put in place. So we have to have some, again, trust in divine timing. Yeah, uh, and the trust thing will, I believe, get easier once we are remembering more, because once we know more, then the
Yeah.
trust is there, because it's not about having to try to believe or have whole faith. It's literally just a knowing, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
of this
And you'll
is
be
it.
shown
Yeah.
examples of
So
how much of a creator you are, because I have certainly been recently shown like my thoughts and I don't know my action. I'm like, oh, I really wish X, and then it happens. And I'm like, okay, the first time you're like, oh, I just thought that. And then when it happens quite a few times within a
yeah.
couple of days, you're like, ah, now I see. Yeah.
Yeah, the
And
penny
then you
drops,
don't
doesn't
want any
it?
negativity in your
Yeah.
head because you're like, well, if I think it's going to happen, you quickly shift it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's fun
Again,
once you start the mastery is what they call it. But like we do appreciate that that isn't where everybody's at. So we're just having fun with it now and lightening it to
yeah.
say like it can
Yeah.
be light-hearted. It doesn't have to be the heavy
Yeah.
stuff does need to go. And we've all felt it, haven't we, Kate? And we've all been through
Yeah.
many this
I
year.
mean, that's the thing. I know we're talking about all this, all the final shedding and the pause, the still point, and the letting go, and the maybe feeling tired and having physical symptoms and all of this. And there's lots of talk on, about dark nights of the soul and all of these, and reaching certain like points, of the kind of no return almost. But there's also a great deal of utter joy, involved in this awakening process. There's so much like connection and that sense of knowing and that recognition, and just like starting to kind of feel into the fact that you're a limitless being, and it's just like there's so many things that's just like mind blowing, isn't it? But in a wonderful way. So it's not all, angst and doom and gloom. That's not what we're trying to say. It's just an understanding that, it is happening for a reason. It's happening for us, not to us. It's hard sometimes not to be stuck in victim mode. But it's being able to kind of find it easier to sort of move through things, understand. And sometimes it does, that obviously involves having to revisit and go back, just to understand and process, and finally release things. So yeah, the inner work has to be done. It doesn't happen without it, kind of thing. But there is so much support available, and nobody is ever alone, because all of us have our guides with us
Yeah.
at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've
Sometimes we
got,
just have one or two that might be more prominent.
we all
And
have
look at that
points.
eagle, it's that higher perspective, isn't it? It's that all-seeing eyes. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
it's beautiful.
vibrant.
Yeah.
He's got the
Yeah.
whole of like we've got all that limitless. It's just like it's not about everything that we want, like you said, the word want like, or need. It's just it's saying in our sovereignty, and we are abundant beings, so we are allowed. It's not feeling
Yeah.
guilty about it or shame. Right? Dream big. Let's go. You know.
Yeah.
Again. the ones that do begin to call it in, we're then, it's a ripple effect, isn't it? Because we're then able
Yeah,
to either support, whether that be financially, physically, mentally, other people, and which is where I feel Kate and I were guided to do this particular YouTube channel, because it's like what we've experienced and what we're speaking and the guidance that we receive, we're now able to speak about. Some people write
yeah,
about it, or it's just a magical way of being able to support each other.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's the thing. It's just to, just to reiterate, we are just talking about our own experiences here, and that's why we're sharing them, because hopefully that's going to resonate with some people as they, have had or do find themselves going through similar type of experiences, to know, yes, you're not the only ones, and we've been there too. And that's why um that's why we chose, and why we were drawn to connect with each other and do these sessions, and why many more people in our community are all starting to get like visible and do work together and collaborate and speak up and be seen and heard. And it is just because, to let people know, you don't know, you're not the only ones, and we totally get it, because yeah, we've been through it and we're still living it, and you know we understand. And this is why, like I said before, this is why we've been through this, so that we have that insight and that empathy, so that we can, um our energy will be a match for those who are seeking that support and guidance.
Yeah.
And that's why, not everybody is a match for everybody, is it? Because it's just the way the attraction works, as it's been explained to me by the guys, is if we're, out there invisible, then it's just our energy will call to the people whose energy is a match. And that's how it works. It's a different way of working. It's not having to do all the whole like sell, or sending like cringeworthy messages and people, it is just about being
Being.
your aura is your calling card, you know. And that will be the same for everyone
And
in whatever they're
sometimes we
doing.
even we have to
Because,
retreat, don't we, Kate? Like even like with
oh yeah,
it isn't
yeah,
just to be about being high vibe all the time. And you felt this recently, and you're feeling like your rebirth is 100% happening this week. You're
absolutely,
in
yeah,
a period
yeah.
of that cocooning
I,
and
I have, just to quickly share without going too much. I mean, I was away for like virtually the whole month of September. We were traveling and then came back, and unfortunately my dad passed away. So, there was space and time, obviously, for me to grieve, and so I did withdraw that. And as many people know, when you've lost more than one loved one, it kind of does layer up, and as you go through a fresh loss, it does bring back those other losses. And that's, again, some stuff to be sort of worked through. So I was doing that. But also I was kind of just feeling like very much in the 3D world, because I've been doing this sort of part-time job. And yeah, I felt like that was kind of, at one point I was getting a bit worried, because I just felt it was distracting me, and I was thinking I'm sort of not moving forward here, and kind of doing my own spiritual practice, but not working with clients as such. Apart from a couple of things, just kind of retreated from that. But I now know that that's all happened for a particular, well, a few reasons. It's like a twofold thing. So obviously, it was good that it was sort of distracted and not able to kind of, get too bogged down in other things. It was a karmic process, so it related to a past life. So me doing this very kind of 3D job in like retail was a karmic clearing for something in a past life. Not that I, did something terrible in a past life or something. It's just that it's something that I'd done unknowingly, and had affected other people sort of energetically. So this was like a redress of that. So it was like a learning thing for me to go through, and I have, because I've had points where I've just wanted to quit. I've been incredibly frustrated. I told you, didn't one day, I just wanted to like kick something. It is so unlike me. And I've literally worked through all of that, and then got to a point of just sort of letting it go, and also seeing that, yes, this is not what's aligned for me really now. So, I've kind of had that confirmation that no, you need to trust and believe and know that this is your work, and that's your path. um but also I've been told that it was kind of a purpose of sort of keeping me out of the spiritual practice mostly, because I was receiving some activations and upgrades, and galactic beings have been working with me and everything like that. So they kind of needed to keep me in a sort of, they called it static, and I don't think it's static as in not moving, but just not kind of doing the other stuff. So that's all kind of past now, thank goodness.
Yeah, you're back.
I mean, I'm honouring the contract and seeing it through to its end in a couple of weeks and that, but it's not. I've moved out of the whole frustration and thing, and just allowing myself to have fun with it and enjoy it and just do it to the best of my ability, but understand it's by no means the be all and end all, and it's just a means to an end, and I'm like ready to like move forward.
It's all about up leveling, isn't it, Kate? I feel that that's what we.
Yeah, yeah,
When my
exactly.
guides told me I wasn't to offer any sessions in December, and that would be my one-on-one
Oh,
off sessions done, I was like, and I don't have any other way of working with clients. So obviously I was like Christmas, bills, not bills, but like overhead
yeah,
in the business. What on earth? And I've just had to trust. And I've been getting some support and guidance actually from somebody else that we work with. And it's all becoming clear what this rebirth is all about. So yeah,
yeah,
don't worry if you're feeling like it's just stillness, because it's to have your upgrades, and you
yeah,
might find that this weekend is the key turning point for that, and going
yeah,
with force
yeah,
energy. Yeah, it's really
yeah.
interesting how we've all been kept back, like so to speak, like a horse in the, what do they call it when you're at the races and they're literally
Is it
like
I don't know. Yeah, there's
balls
like
or
the little
something.
cage
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, the stalls or something. Yeah, I think they call it, don't they? Yeah, before they kind of go poof.
having that patience, isn't it? Like, don't kick
Yeah,
anything like cake, because you might end up breaking your foot.
yeah.
We wouldn't want that
And it's like
happen.
some of the horses, that's something. I think there's some kind of like hood over them, so they're not sort of spooked or distracted or something. So maybe that's us. We've had the
What we're
blinkers,
doing,
the
yeah.
blinkers. Yeah, that's the word, isn't it? Blinkers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but sometimes it's necessary. And it's hard to go through at the time because it does just feel like, oh, I've just taken a step back. And it can often on this journey just feel like two steps forward, one step back, or even one step forward, two steps back at times. But it's not. It's always a period before another big kind of upgrade, another like advance, everything like that. You go into that space of like how to like clear it all and everything. That's what's going on. But it's not easy to experience at the time. But again, as we increase our awareness and our understanding and our knowing, then that does make it a lot easier to accept. And I just love and admire the fact that you receive that message going, don't do any more one-to-one sessions, and you're like, okay,
Double
even
check
though
pendulum,
like,
and I was
well,
like,
I've got presents to pay, I've got kids, I've got this, I've got that, you have trusted, and now you're understanding why. So yeah, it just makes it a lot easier.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know that with your energies being back, Kate, that you were telling me you were tuned into our session today, and you've been guided back to an part of your new awakening, so to speak, or rebirth, should we call it, is to enhance your light language work, which is very exciting because it's very beautiful. And I personally use
Yeah,
your audios a lot of the time when I'm needing them. And again, the link, if you're wanting to listen to some of Kate's work, I'll put them in the description of the show. But yeah, so you were like,
thank you.
so yeah, let us know what that's all about, because obviously in your own words,
Yeah.
it'd be great to hear.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm having to clear my throat is because the energy is there in my throat chakra. So do excuse me, I don't want to cough down. But this is what happens when it's because my throat chakra is being activated, ready to sort of channel that through. But I'll have to have some more water, excuse me. And I mean, obviously, I know we don't have a huge amount of subscribers at the moment, and I know many of them are already within the same spiritual spaces that we occupy. But for anyone in future coming across this who may not be familiar with light language, it's not necessarily a language as such as in the way that we would understand it. It's a it's a soul frequency. It's something that we all have within us, that we'd all recognize at soul level, so we don't have to actually understand it or try to translate it, although some people do. But I think it's what I come to understand with like language, because people talk about different types of language and it coming from different sources, often galactic, or it could be angelic, or it can be Atlantean or whatever. But what I've often found with my light language is it's what the receiver, what the listener experiences is what is relevant, and it can be totally different. Now there'll be certain ones where I do receive the guidance to say what it's actually for. Gosh, excuse me, it's really it's really effective.
Come
I'm just
up.
going to ask I'm just going to ask them to like settle that down a bit so that I will be able to channel the light language. um but sometimes I am given the guidance beforehand as to what the generally speaking, what the purpose is of a particular channeling. But no, I mean, often it happens for me anyway, just completely spontaneously. So it was just literally last night, and that's why I contacted you, was because I was guided to do it today, and I have been told that it is angelic today. And my understanding of it is, but again, I say just be open to receive, is that it is just to support through this this period and these next few days in particular, just to allow us to help and support us with that final releasing and shedding, and help us to be open our hearts to be more receptive to the remembering. So that was my understanding of it. And obviously I've been guided to bring in a few crystals here. So rose quartz, which is never any surprise, always working with rose quartz, because it's that love, it's that heart related, it's compassion, it's self-love, which helps to support, which is really important. I've also got a chunk of celestite here, which helps with the opening, with that sort of connection to spirit and to receiving, that, and it's related to the crown chakra. Gosh, this croakiness. And then, but interestingly, and this one surprised me, I was like, oh, so I've got this chunk of, oops, a pyrite there. Sorry, I froze on camera there for a minute. So a big chunk of pyrite. And I was like, okay, why the pyrite? And it's only during this session, as we've been talking about it, they've actually communicated with me. I hope on camera I don't look like I've just gone like distracted, gone off somewhere, because I was actually receiving some information. Dear me, while you were talking, Kelly. Apologize for all this coughing. There's a, but they were saying, well, it's like a grounding and sort of protecting thing, but then they dropped the words fool's gold into my head, and then just repeated it a few times. I'm like, okay. So obviously, because it's hard to see on camera, but there's like little veins, like little, and it's like sparkling, and because often it was mistaken by prospectors as actual gold, we were mining for it. And it's not, it sort of mimics it, so it's pyrite. So it was known as fool's gold for that reason. But it is, interestingly, despite that sort of, oh, a little bit just dropped off then, sorry. Despite that name of fool's gold, it actually is a stone for calling in abundance. So there's that aspect to it as well. But it's just like helping us. Gosh, I'm knocking everything down.
It's all going off.
The energy is really coursing through me at the moment, so I'll try and just center a moment. The fool's gold thing is just saying yes, because our eyes, were being opened up to seeing the truth and recognizing the truth, and the scales dropping from the eyes, so to speak. So it's recognizing what's true and what isn't, and what we're being distracted by, what is the fool's gold and what is the real. And then it's helping to ground us, and it's helping to call in that abundance as well. So quite been a hard-working stone today, that pyrite. So we've got the energy, I've got them in front of me here. So when you're listening to, if you haven't listened to light language before, as I say, You don't need to strive to understand it. Just be open to receiving it, understanding that it's a frequency. And as you listen, you might feel some sensations in your body. You might like to close your eyes or lower your gaze, and you might see colors. You might even receive some visions. You might hear a word or words or feel like you're receiving a message or a download. You may go hot or cold. You may experience nothing whatsoever. And all of the above is completely normal and okay. Okay. And it's coming through from the highest frequency and source. So it is only for your good, for your highest and greatest good. It does, as I say, it is a clearing and a healing, and they have actually also told me during the session to channel Reiki as part of this whilst I'm speaking the light language. So I shall do that. I think I'll set that up first before I start to channel. Um, and then it's that activation to help with the remembering and the opening up. And it is a lot of it focusing, whilst it will, resonate at a cellular level, it is a heart opening session, this, as I understand it. So all you need to do is just, keep an open mind and be willing to receive. So if we want to just settle ourselves down and get ready for this, now I would say that if you're watching this, don't be obviously, well, you shouldn't be watching something while you're driving anyway. But yeah, just obviously if you're doing something, don't do something where you could potentially injure yourself, like be chopping vegetables with a sharp knife or something. But wherever you are, I would invite yourself, to get yourself settled and make yourself comfortable. Um, and I think it's important if we just ground ourselves. We've already opened sacred space today, we're protected. But if you can, I would say if you can, I invite you to place your feet flat on the floor, and you can either maybe like rub them on the floor, or you might want to just lean forward, putting your hands on your thighs, on your knees, just pressing down lightly, just to kind of feel that stronger connection between your feet, the soles of your feet, and the surface beneath you. You don't have to have bare feet; it's absolutely fine. So just feeling that grounding connection and having that intention to be held and grounded. And I invite in Archangel Michael now, bringing his sword of truth and protection, Sandalphon to help us with that grounding at our feet, and also Archangel Mary for that compassionate and unconditional love, and Archangels Uriel and Raphael for the healing. And lastly, Archangel Metatron to stand at our head, to help us be open to receiving the guidance, the messages, the knowing and the awakening that is for our highest and greatest good at this time. And I just want you to visualize that you're sending out roots from the soles of your feet, if you can. And round about a foot beneath the soles of your feet is your earth star chakra. And it's like a silver ball. And you can send those roots down and wrap them around it, like you were wrapping up a ball of wool, wrapping those roots around that beautiful silver ball of your earth star chakra. And it's anchoring and holding you safely in place. And if you wish, you can send those roots down further to deep, deep, deep down into the core of Mother Earth. It's the heart of Gaia, connecting with her beautiful crystalline core, connecting to that energy and drawing it back up, 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 up through those roots, through layers and strata and rock and clay and fossils and bones and soil, all the way up into your earth star chakra and then further up into your feet. Just letting that beautiful, nurturing Mother Earth Gaia energy flow into your feet and ankles, up your calves, into your knees, along your thighs, into your hips, your belly, your back, into your chest, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your fingers, up into your neck, your throat, your skull, your jaw, through your head, through your forehead, into your third eye chakra, and all the way up to your crown. Just being held, rooted, and protected in this space now. And I just ask you now to set the intention. If you're alone, you may wish to say it out loud, or you can just say it to yourself in your mind. You can say, I accept this healing and activation now. Or you could say, thank you for this healing and activation. And if this is something that you don't wish to receive, that is absolutely fine. You don't need to say this. Having set that intention now, allowing yourself to relax, your shoulders to drop, and just taking some nice, calming, deep breaths, just 3, and doing this in your own time. But if you can, please try breathing in through the nose and fill the belly first, then the chest, just making a nice, deep, expansive breath, and sigh it out through the mouth. Just do that 3 times in your own time, feeling yourself settle a little deeper. With your eyes closed or your gaze lowered, whichever is most comfortable for you. Just allow yourself to receive and enjoy this activation and healing now. And bringing in the Reiki energy, the symbol of power, chokure, chokure, chokure. And the mental healing and clarity and balancing, seihiki, seihiki, seihiki. And finally the harmony symbol, the distant healing symbol. On shaze shunen, on shaze shunen, on shaze shunen. Allowing yourself to receive that Reiki healing energy now, knowing that it is only for your highest and greatest good, and just letting it flow wherever it needs to flow. But if there is a particular issue that you would like help with at this time, ask for that. Ask for the Reiki to support and help you heal with whatever that may be. Or otherwise, just trust and know it's going where it needs to go. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to make any effort. All you have to do is be willing to accept. Ishna sia 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 tia kusona si sia ya. Hen sia o su nia nia ya kia tia se e. Shana sa ea. Shana sa e siana a. Ha siana. Oh, sisiana ya tosuya. Henna sisia tia kuaya shiana. Ha sisia kia kua. Ina sisia tia ea. Shesia so o suna siana tia ya kua. Ah, sisia shaktuan aye in asa ea o kukutusu iaktia. Kiakta asti kukusuna eana shiatiaka. Se sia 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 tia na sako o na sia tia e. Shia sia ko suna ea tia tia kia ko suna. Nasa sia tia kia kia o sia na sia tia tia ko suna. Sia na ea sia tia ko. Hoa. He sitia an sitiko an ana. Hey oh. Ah. Sina sia e tia tia kosuna. Hana si sia ya tia na si sia na tia koyana. Ea si 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 ti si sakuna ya sia na. Sia na tua. Just allowing this frequency, this activation to settle and flow through. Giving yourself a moment to notice if there is any sensations in the body, taking your attention there now and asking, what is this showing me now? And connecting to your guides and asking any question that you'd like to receive guidance on now. Trusting and knowing, accepting that the answer will drop in at the right time. Just letting yourself be held now in this space, in this peace, in this container. And now, gradually bringing your attention back into your body. Again, becoming aware of your feet on the floor, any sensations, feeling the chair or the bed or the surface, whatever's supporting you. Coming back into your body, into your awareness. Maybe you want to rub your own arms, or give yourself a little hug now. You tap or rub your collarbone. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose again. Sighing it out through the mouth. When you're ready, softly blinking your eyes open or raising your gaze. Thank you. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Kate. I definitely went off somewhere then. So I'd love to know what your thoughts were on that. Let us know in the comments because
I would really appreciate it if you did experience there, or even if you didn't, or if you've got any questions about light language. There was a lot going around here. It was
the
like
crown.
pulsate. And heart very sort of expansive in the chest. You may have heard or noticed that was blowing at one time. That's the sort of clearing and releasing when that's happening. So that I find I'm often doing that, when doing Reiki or light language. There's always like the sort of, it's just the clearing of the energy when that happens. So just a little bit of sort of, if you having received this now, I'll say even if you didn't experience anything, it's okay. Just trust and know that it has been received. If you feel drawn to doing a little bit of journaling about anything that you've noticed, you might have some vivid dreams tonight, or you might sleep more deeply than you normally would. That's quite common when having received energetic healing. Please do stay well hydrated. And I know we are in party season, but I would advise just avoiding alcohol, at least for today, if you possibly can, preferably for the next 48 hours. But obviously, if you can't, maybe just moderating that, but and making sure that you have lots and lots and lots of water. We're always being told by our guides, drink more water, and we can't overemphasize the importance of that. And it does help because it is a little bit of like a detoxification kind of process. Okay.
Oh, thank you, thank you. And what a beautiful way to end our festive episode. Because we won't be recording over the festive period. We'll be spending it with our families, but like we said, you can reach out if anything does come up. We don't want anybody to feel alone with anything that we've discussed, but I feel that was a beautiful gift, Kate, because I know a lot of our subscribers have been with us since the beginning. So thank you so much for giving back. And I know that that's your energy at the moment. You're just being guided to do like smaller activations in groups with people, which is lovely. And I know that's what you're going to be doing in the lead up to Christmas. So yeah, I wish you all good luck with that, darling.
Oh, thank you for the reminder, actually, Kelly, because just so others may have felt like they wanted to, speak light language or make some sounds, and that sometimes, listening to somebody else speak language. I've been told that I am an activator, so you might sort of notice that when mine was activated for me, by the beautiful Laura Brew. It actually started in the middle of the night. I literally woke up and it was just like I wanted to start just, to me, what felt like sort of babbling, because it's not words, it's just sounds and sort of gobbledygook, and I was just like, oh, is, is this? I was like, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. What do I do with this? I did eventually manage to get back to sleep, and then I can remember like just recording it on a voice note on my phone and sending it to Laura, going, I think this is light language. Is this? And she was like, oh yes, it definitely is. I knew it was really, but I just needed that sort of confirmation. But I say it's channeled through me,
And some people say it
So
comes when they're driving the car. For me, mine, well, Kate activated mine through one of her audios, but I was guided to meditate or release near water. And I just sighed and hummed, and then it turned into some like different sounds that when
yeah,
it's that language, because you think, I'm not even producing these sounds. Like it comes from somewhere deep, doesn't it? Which is why
yeah,
it's pretty
yeah,
take you by surprise, but just trust it.
yeah.
And then once it's there, all it can do is just keep developing. Yeah. So
Yeah, and it can be sort of, you always feel like it's like repetitive or making the same sounds or things. I don't know what my mouth's gonna do, before it actually does it. And I've had times where it felt like somebody was like, almost like manipulating it, and it was just weird. It was kind of like going, wee, and part of me just wanted to laugh, because it's like, what is happening right now? Um, so yeah, it doesn't necessarily always have the same sound or tone to it. There's a lovely lady in our Going Beyond the Veil community, Natalie, and when she channels light language, it's incredible. She sounds like an actual singing bowl. It's unreal and so beautiful, And I know we shouldn't compare, should we? At other times we're thinking, I wish mine sounded like that, but it is what it is. And like
I
I
know
say, it's
mine's
something
like a
that,
growling. I'm like, I don't know if I should be doing this online in groups of people. Like, what is like, "Grr." It's quite stern, just that grumbling. And like you say, I would prefer to sound like if I sounded like a singing bowl or like you, really angelic, I would be like doing it all the time.
yeah, I would, well, I would,
Like,
yeah, I would be, but didn't you say that yours is like a form of dragon tongue, and that's why it's
yeah,
probably
I
deep
think
and
it's
growly?
connected to the
But
dragon. Yeah,
yeah, just keep at it, and you and I can have some, like, sessions together, and it will, you know, it will evolve from there. But it's like coming up at that level. But it's again, it's getting past that self-consciousness
yeah,
that is, for us as humans, it's just that's the hardest thing, because it's just like, well, it's always, what will people think?
of
Isn't
course.
it? They think I'm mad. They think it's like, oh, what is this noise? But I think, luckily for me, because I am quite a self-conscious person, but I actually got that past that quite quickly, because mine was activated by Laura, like I said, and like 3 days later, I was doing a group healing, group Reiki and yoga and relaxation evening, and I just knew, and I was like, it's gonna, and
Coming.
good. Yeah, those two of us did it together. I just said to her, it's gonna come out, and she was like, "Oh, go for it," kind of thing. And at first, I was just, because I can, if I need to, I can kind of keep it sort of slightly below my breath, or I can like whisper it, or I can just let it be there, like on the inside, if you know what I mean. But um, and so it was like sort of whispering at first, and then it just kind of went, whoa, it's out, and it was fine. Nobody kind of went, you're insane, or what on earth was that, or anything. They all enjoyed it. So, that was, I think, happened because I was somebody who needed that to kind of get out of my own head, get out of my own way, really, and just allow it to be.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I know when I've had sessions with Kate and you incorporate it and it's something that you're not expecting, you can really feel it as a receiver. It's always at the divine guided time, isn't it? It's not just, I'm going to do light language
Yeah,
now. It comes up from the soul when you're guided
yeah.
to do it.
even if somebody's like requested a channeling and everything like that, I have to wait until the right time, until when it's sort of ready to come through, and I don't necessarily get to dictate when that is, but obviously I can ask guys to work with me and say this is when I've got some space and time available to do it, so and they have always cooperated with me, but I can't just go, all right, now I'm going to speak some light language, blah blah blah. It just that just doesn't, I can't force or I could sort of try to, but wouldn't have the resonance of the frequency in it, it wouldn't work. It'd probably end up hitting my throat, because I
Yeah.
find doing light language makes sounds that I didn't know I'm capable of making, and I kind of held a single tone or frequency for like a really, really long time without taking a breath in. And again, not something that I had any idea had the ability to do. And I wouldn't normally, it's like I say, it's just during the light language, because it's just flowing through and being channeled. It's like I'm not having to sort of make the effort as such.
Fabulous. Well, we know 100%, although we are rebirthing and being guided to different things and work differently, that this is part of our journey for 2026. So we will be back, just a little bit of a longer hiatus, so to speak. But yeah, and it's always good when we're guided to do the sessions, isn't it? Because it's the same with everything that we do. It gives the energy to it
Yeah.
rather than just being monotonous. But we do try and pencil in regular slots, otherwise it just would never happen.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It's just we always kind of have some idea, especially if we've received any questions, and obviously we do want to get to those, but it's virtually every single time, it's not fully goes to, there's always going to be, it's like sometimes it's the night before, but sometimes it's like in the discussion that we're literally having before we hit the record button, and it just comes through.
Yeah.
So we go through it. So yeah, neither Kelly or I are pretending to be any kind of like, professional sort of influencers or podcasters or, broadcasters or anything like that. It is just, it's us being us, isn't it, honey? And I think that's fairly obvious.
Yeah, more and
But
authentic. But if it is your first
yeah,
time watching and listening, obviously we'd love a like and let us know what your thoughts. And if there's anything that you'd like us to incorporate, we're just open to suggestions, because it is, we feel like
yeah,
this is our little mini collective now that we've created, isn't it, Kate? And we do get
yeah,
lovely private messages and things, because there are people that we know who watch us. But yeah, if you're inclined to
yeah,
share with people that of feeling the wobble that we've just talked about, oh, listen, just give these guys a watch and you might just get a little bit of reassurance. And yes, share the love, but only if, again, if you feel guided, because that's why we've been told, as we keep saying,
yeah,
this together.
yeah,
So yeah, the more
yeah,
people we can reach who need to hear us, that would really sort of spur us to continue. But we've not been told that this needs to shut down anytime soon. So we hope you're still with us for the 2026 going into the home,
yeah,
because we've still going to have lots of things to share and guide you through, which would be
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, we will continue to do this for as long as we're guided to do it. We know it's part of our path and our journey, but we don't actually know where that ends up, do we? Apart from when Kelly was shown in a session that it was like we were on the yellow brick road. It was a very kind of lots of Wizard of Oz type
And we're
analogies there.
slowly meeting our guys. We feel like we've met two out of the main guy, the scarecrow and the two, like, so, we're not dressed up as that, but we're like, oh, I think this is our scarecrow. We're like, yeah, let's do what they're
Yeah,
doing. Because we're not allowed
yeah,
to interfere with each other, guys. Like, we're not like, we can give each other little tidbits of advice, but we're not allowed to force what this ultimate journey is for both of us, are we, Kate?
yeah.
We've got to also enjoy the ride, and I think it's important, because then we can help guide you all through it as well at the same time.
Just laughing at anyone catching this towards the end, going, "We're not allowed to interfere with each
No,
other." It's like, what are they talking
we
about?
don't live near each other.
Yeah, we're not allowed to know too much about the other's journey, I think is what it is, isn't it? Because otherwise we might try and like it in our eagerness, we might try and sort of like, force things, and everything needs to happen at the right time. And each of us needs to have our own kind of like revelations and understanding and experiences, but we do have these crossovers where we are allowed, and we do get messages for each other, and we do get shown ways in which to collaborate. And obviously, this is the main one at the moment, isn't it? But we know there's going to be other things. So we're just staying open to that and excited to see what comes, but not trying to force it in any way.
Yeah, enjoying the ride, so to speak. But yeah, it's been amazing, and I've loved seeing your festive hat cat. I'm going to go and Google that. See if I can get it delivered.
My head is, especially after it's funny because my body's starting to go cold now, because when the energy is like flowing through me and the Reiki, it's just, I go so warm, and now I'm starting to sort of cool down a bit. But this is keeping my head very warm.
Yeah,
I think it's probably time for us to close the sacred space now, Kelly. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
unless there's,
absolutely.
have we covered everything that we planned to cover
Yeah,
today,
that
or
was
rather
an amazing
that
session.
got
And
dropped in on us last minute for today?
thank you all for bearing with us. It was a slightly special edition, a longer version of our episodes that we normally do, but I think it
Yeah.
Kate's
Are
activation
you
and
are you tired? Solstice, new
yes,
moon, three eye atlas edition. Yeah, it's a lot. All right. Just again, setting that intention. You can put your hand over your heart if you wish to do so. And just asking that as we gently close this sacred space, we give thanks for all that we have received, all that has been channeled through, all that has been shared today. And as before, we ask that the light that we've called in continues to surround and support each and every one of us, helping us to integrate any healing and activation received, and supporting the insights, so the awareness, the remembering that has unfolded. And again, we state our intention that we release now all that no longer serves, and we seal in this space in love, gratitude, and divine protection. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste.
hope that you all have a
Blow the
wonderful.
candle out now.
Oh yes, sorry, forgot. There we go. Lovely. Yes, so before I jumped in, I was saying that I hope you all have a wonderful time with your families, and however you choose to spend the festive period is absolutely perfect for you. Just don't put
Yeah,
too much
we
pressure
are
on yourself.
sending so much love and healing to all of you, and especially for those of you who find this a particularly difficult time of year. Please know that you are held, and call upon your angels and your guides to support you through this at this time.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, everyone. We will see you in 2026.
Oh gosh, yeah. Bye, bye everyone.
Bye.